Ashcliffe Hospital on Shutter Island is home to the criminally insane, those who are not only mentally unstable but have also seriously hurt themselves or others. So when Rachel Solando, a patient on Shutter Island, escapes her room, it is a serious enough issue for Marshal Teddy Daniels and his partner Chuck All to be sent to Shutter Island to help find Rachel. However, the further that Daniels and his partner dig, the more suspicious Shutter Island seems to be. Daniels becomes increasingly paranoid and starts to believe mind control experiments are being performed on Shutter Island. Throughout his investigation, Daniels has frequent headaches and dreams about his dead wife Dolores, which hints at the possibility that either the doctors at Shutter Island are trying to eliminate him through mind control, or that he actually has problems more serious than just headaches. Teddy Daniels is the protagonist of the movie. In the beginning, he is portrayed as a U.S. Marshal, but in actuality, he is Andrew Latis, a patient at Shutter Island. Daniels actually suffers from paranoid schizophrenia. One of the characteristic symptoms of his mental illness is delusions of persecution, which he displays when he shares with all his suspicions that everyone is out to get them because they are getting close to uncovering the truth about the island, and when he refuses Dr. Colley's cigarettes because he believes that there are mind-controlling psychotropic drugs infused in them. Another symptom characteristic of paranoid schizophrenia are his auditory and visual hallucinations. Not only does he have dreams about his dead wife, he also starts to see and hear her and his dead daughter, who keeps saying, "You could have saved me." In the movie, he sees and hears Dolores when he was in Ward C talking to George Noyce, and when he breaks into the lighthouse and finds Dr. Colley there waiting for him. Daniels also hallucinates who he believed to be the real Rachel Solando in a cave along the cliffs of Shutter Island. His hallucinated version of Solando back up all his suspicions about the island and the doctors there. So in a way, Solando was like a defense mechanism his ego created to sustain the validity of his paranoid delusions. Although the most popular theory about the cause of schizophrenia is the dopamine hypothesis, a biologically based theory, another possible cause is the diathesis stress model, a theory that recognizes the importance of environmental stressors in triggering a biological predisposition. In Daniels' case, his stressor would be drowning of his kids by his mentally unstable wife and the death of his wife at his hands. We have no way of knowing what biological predisposition for illness he had, but based on his development of paranoid schizophrenia after the murders, it is likely he has some biological abnormalities. Also, the fact that Daniels served in World War II and had frequent flashbacks to the things he saw at Dachau concentration camp, it is possible that the stress from those events also contributed to his condition. Teddy Daniels' problems were solved in many different ways. For the most part, Daniels' mental problems used to be stabilized by antipsychotic drugs, but the drugs were not good enough since he kept losing touch on reality and going back into his delusions, which is another example of a defense mechanism, more specifically repression. As a last resort type of solution, his psychologist devised an elaborate role-playing scenario where Daniels is able to live out his delusions and find out the truth about himself and who killed his wife. His psychologist hoped to shock Daniels out of his delusions and back into reality. However, when Daniels refers to Dr. Sheehan as Chuck again in the end, the psychologists realize that their efforts have failed and decide to lobotomize Daniels, which was the conventional method of treatment at the time. Shutter Island is a very good movie for understanding mental illnesses such as paranoid schizophrenia. Not only was paranoid schizophrenia presented, but there were also the inclusion of other mental illnesses, and there was a correct use of terms. The symptoms were portrayed very well and were most importantly very accurate. Also, the treatments that were presented were accurate and fit the time frame of the movie. This movie not only included abnormal psychology, but also other important ideas such as defense mechanisms. Therefore, overall, this movie does a good job of explaining abnormal psychology.